Welcome back. David Hertel in for Elias. A lot to get to with my next guest on this week's City Hall segment. She is the executive committee member for culture. Ericka Alneus is on the line. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, Mr. Hertel.
Hello, Miss Alneus. So before I get to culture and everything that's going on in Montreal, you are a city councillor in Rosemont, correct?
Yes.
So I feel I have to ask you about this latest episode of apparent NIMBYism, not in my backyard. There are Rosemont residents that are worried about a new homeless shelter being set up near 5 schools. We've been speaking a lot of these events, especially following the event surrounding a safe injection site in Saint-Henri that now has to close because it doesn't have any resources to take care of the homeless there. So what's your stand on what's going on with citizens in Rosemont?
I have to say that I can welcome the fact that they're worried, but it is important as a city councillor to understand that I represent everyone, including them and some people that are in situation of vulnerability. So it is important to point out that in the case of the St. Church, there's some verification that has to be done first. And after that, we have to make sure that there's an organization that can come and support certain communities that would be there. So that would be the thing that I say. So we're really at 0.1 of this initiative. And I can understand that those situations makes people uncomfortable because I think it gets to our hearts as human beings. And now we have to find ways to put everyone together. Organization, we can talk about the borough, we're talking about the city. We also talk about the government in Quebec through the CS and also the citizens. So I think that it has to be taken with some heart. But I can understand that being human beings, we are sensitive about that, but we want to make sure that everything goes well. So this is one of the things that as a borough city councilor, it is important for me to make sure that everybody can be safe and have a roof over their heads.
Why don't you walk me through the mechanics of a project like that? As a city councilor, are you made aware of these projects right from their inception? How does that work? How does the city council, the borough council, get involved? And then I suppose, how can the public get involved? I mean, you mentioned the CIUS, so there's a health ministry that's involved. Take me through the process here.
I'll do my best, and I'll take
as you understand it, as you see it, from your perspective as a councillor.
And the thing is that, and this is important what you said, because one of the key points that people have to understand is everybody has their role. You know, the provincial government has certain responsibilities.
Sure.
The cities have certain responsibility. Being Montreal, there's certain things that we have as responsibilities to be able to collaborate with the provincial government with projects such as l'itinérance, I would say. Sorry for the word.
No, the unhoused.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And in that case, one of the responsibilities that we have is, as a city, to be able to see if there's some places where we can receive some people that are in those kind of situations. So this is our responsibility as the city of Montreal, to make sure that is there certain places that we can take. And it is important to point out that we are in an important crisis situation. So there's things that has to be agile. So the city has this responsibility, and they work with the borough to see if everything can be done, because we have to make sure that the building is safe to receive some people. But the organization that can support those communities, it is the responsibility from the CIUS to take care of it. So it's like everybody has a role to play, but depends on the act. So we are in charge of Act 1 too, but later on the CIUS has to come out. In certain cases, there's some committee of neighbors that are implemented with the organization that is in place to make sure that we are talking about the issues that goes well, some that are more difficult, to make sure that everybody can cohabitate. So it depends of the situation, how many people can be received. So I would say that it's many actors that has to play a role at a certain point in the act to make sure that everybody can cohabitate.
Yeah, and I guess sometimes, and I'm not talking about you or this situation specifically, Ms. Alneus, but sometimes there seems to be a lack of coordination with all these moving parts. Do you find that sometimes?
I think it's a question of it's the emergency in which we are in, and when sometimes we have to go fast, and sometimes there can happen certain glitches. But I think that everybody wants to make sure that everybody is safe. And I really want to point out that those are peculiar moments that kind of blow in a tremendous and important way. But for me to see that people are moving to make sure that everybody is safe, I think is something that could be encouraging to notice.
Now, when I was a minister and a member for Saint Michel, I remember sometimes I would learn about these types of situations through the media. I would wake up in the morning and find out. Was something like this, what's going on in Rosemont, was it already on your radar, or did you find it through media?
We worked with the Central. So when we talk about the City of Montreal, we talk about the Central.
Right.
So the borough, there was something that kind of passed, and we were aware about it, but it wasn't. I can say like I woke up and it was. No.
I understand.
But the thing is that the information that came out through the media looked like something like that will happen. But the problem at that stage is that we don't even know what kind of project will come in. It was important for us as a borough to say, hey, there's neighbors around this place. It is important to make sure that the cohabitation goes well. So what we did, we talked with the Central, and that's the thing that I really appreciate is that we have a collaboration coming from the Central and the borough to make sure that we are hearing what the citizens are saying. We took the time, me and the mayor of the borough, to meet the citizen around and to really say, hey, we hear you, and we're taking the time to inform the Central that it is important that there's citizen around, there's kids around, and we really want to make sure that the cohabitation will go smoothly. And now afterwards, when the things as I said, we have to wait to make sure that the building is safe. That's the first thing. So we're trying the best that we can to prepare ourselves if it has to be a safe building. But at that point, we have to remember that we're not even there yet. But we're sensitive on the fact that, and this is the delicacy of this, of those issues, is that we're talking about dignity, human dignity. And we want to make sure that at least everybody has their space. And we have to think about those people that are homeless and in this housing crisis. How do we make sure that in those emergencies, we are showing up to our citizens no matter their social status?
I really appreciate you answering these questions, because I think sometimes, and I'm asking these questions because I went through this when I was in politics, is that we rarely can take the time to understand all the mechanics and all the moving parts in these controversial situations. And since you're a city councilor in Rosemont, the controversy is in Rosemont, I thought it would be very interesting to really take the time here to drill down and understand everything that's going on, where we are in this process, and how the situation is evolving. So I really appreciate you accepting to talk about this. And don't worry, we'll talk about culture at another time. I'm sure there's a lot of occasions to talk about everything's going on in Montreal.
I fully understand, and I want to thank you also because it's complex subject that has to fit into public policies. And sometimes I say, being an elected official is dealing with facts, perception, and humanity.
Yeah.
So this is the responsibility that we have, and we want to make sure that everybody has their own place, because at the heart of that is human dignity.
Greatly appreciate your time this morning, Ms. Alneus. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Ericka Alneus, Executive Committee Member for Culture here at the City of Montreal. But, it's important to understand all these moving parts. We can criticize, but there's a lot of different things going on. And in a debate like this, we also have to let's give some room to the facts.